What's going on, YouTube, and welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and today we are going to talk about the NHL's newest relocation slash new branded team, and that is the Utah Hockey Club. And the Utah Hockey Club is no longer the name of the team in Utah. The name has been announced, the logo's been announced, the jersey color palette pretty much staying the same, but we have a new name. The Utah Mammoth is the name of the 32nd NHL franchise. So, the Utah Hockey Club, it was a good run for one season, and really in terms of branding and color scheme and things like that, really not much changing here. The only real difference is the logo and the actual name. Now, I'm really excited for what could potentially be coming here over the next couple of weeks for the Utah Mammoth. Now, immediately the comparisons were drawn to the Colorado Mammoth and the obvious conversation of, well, so they're not allowed to be called the Utah Yeti, but the Utah Mammoth, which is another sports team. Not obviously, it's far from Colorado, but relatively in terms of like geographical United States, like not that crazy of a distance from each other. It's not like the east and the west side of the United States. It's in the middle of the US. So it kind of makes you wonder, like, what kind of happened here? What was the fallout from Yeti? We'll probably find out eventually over the years. I'm sure people are going to get mad at me because they're saying Utah and Colorado are nowhere near each other. But me being from New York, that's how I look at it. So I'll leave it at that. With that said, we have the colors, the jerseys. The Utah away jersey will be staying the exact same. So it's basically that horizontal going across diagonal Utah. That will be staying. I am a fan of it. I don't love it, but I like that there's a different jersey for the home and away. I do like that. It is something a little bit different. And I guess because you're the road team, like having Utah, kind of like what the Rangers do, right? Like it's New York across the Rangers jersey on the road, and it's Rangers across when they're at home, right? So obviously the road team kind of showing off their state pride, I guess, or whatever you want to put it as. I do like that jersey. I think it's a little bit weird with the striping with the blue and then the black and the blue again. I don't really love that. I wish they inverted that and there was more blue than black, but that's me just nitpicking it. You also have the two new shoulder patches, which are going to be different on each jersey. So they're going to have four different patches. So two different patches on the home, two different patches on the away. You have the Utah, the actual crest logo on the home jersey. That's going to be on the shoulder of the away jersey. You have the state of Utah and then Utah written across it as one of the shoulder shield logos, I guess. And that brings us to the home jersey, which is going to be that black jersey we saw last season. But instead of Utah across the front, it's going to have that woolly mammoth. And I think that's great. I think that's a great logo. I see the comparisons to really, it's almost similar to the Minnesota Wild logo in a sense that you have like the mountains as kind of like the peak of like the head kind of coming down the back. It's all mountains, and then you have the mammoth kind of into it. You have the tusk going up against the horns, kind of like that contrast. It seems to flow well. I do really like that. And as much as you maybe would have liked to have seen maybe the U of some kind of Utah in that logo at some spot somewhere, the fact that Colorado has the mammoth kind of situation going on already with the M, it would look weird if they tried to use a U to make that mammoth logo. And I'm sure over time we'll find out more details on some of the other options in terms of logos. But for now, I think this is good. And I think what we're going to eventually see is a mascot. I think that's a pretty big deal around the NHL now. And most sports teams, the idea of just, I saw it especially when I went to Hershey last week, how you've just got these little Coco the Bear things. Like I just see a little fuzzy woolly mammoth plush selling like crazy in Utah. That's an easy thing to sell. You have this cute little Utah mammoth mascot, and then you have all the little plushies. Like those things are going to sell like hotcakes. I don't see anything that's going to really fall far from the map. Maybe kind of like a Muppet looking mammoth, kind of cutesy but mischievous kind of thing. I could totally see them running with that and just easy money. That's easy money for Utah, and I think they're not going to miss that opportunity here, naming this team the Utah Mammoth. With that said, I think a lot of people are upset that they're not the Renegades or the Outlaws or something like that. And I do get that, but honestly, I think I prefer the Mammoth over those other options. You know, I think this is a this is a team that is trying to differentiate itself. And as much as maybe that light blue, that Arctic light blue, maybe doesn't stand out the way that maybe we've seen with Seattle, which it is pretty similar to Seattle's coloring, with Seattle or Vegas. In its own way, I think it works. And to really go off of the color palette, it's going to, at this point, take a team to go either like full yellow, pink, or purple, or like a lime green, maybe, like the Savannah, the Ghost Riders or whatever they are. You would have to almost go in that direction. And I think a lot of teams, probably rightfully so, trying to stay away from colors that might make them look like maybe less serious. And I think there will be a team someday that does a pink or a purple or a super light lime green. But until we get there, we aren't quite there yet. This works for what they're trying to do. The fact that it's like a tundra, Arctic tundra, cold environment. You got the Mammoth. This all makes a lot of sense. So with that said, to kind of wrap today's video up, I'm excited to see what Utah does this offseason. There's been a lot of talk about them trying to go in big and trying to get some bigger name players in free agency. Depending on who is actually available, that's going to probably play a lot into it. But I know that the ownership in Utah wants to be aggressive. They want to try and add to this identity. Now that they've got this identity, they want to have a winning culture with it. They're going to be aggressive. We've seen how, the owner, the way he handles the Utah Jazz, very hands-on, very aggressive, trying to win championships. That's going to be something they try to do here. And I think with everything that has kind of unfolded with really the former Arizona, now Utah franchise, there's a lot of kind of picking the pieces up and using what you have and trying to create something of it. And I think that the first year was going to be that kind of let's test things out and see where things are at. And now that the evaluation is done, I think we're going to see a much more aggressive, much more moving the puzzle pieces around approach from the management there in Utah. And I think, again, I think there's a lot of things to like about this team. We've seen the progression of some of those younger players that were developing in Arizona really starting to come into their own now. And I think that that's something to really be excited about. It's tough because you're in a division where you think you might have a better chance of winning, especially with maybe seeing teams that are maybe more down than normal, in a year where it's been Colorado and Dallas the last couple of years. Chicago's been down. St. Louis and Minnesota have been like the middle teams. And then Utah, Arizona is just kind of just there. So, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down below. What do you guys think of the Utah Mammoth? What they might do this summer? I'm trying to bring in some big name players with their newfound identity. Let me know what you guys think down below. As always, thank you so much for watching today's video. And I'll see you guys again next time.